Welcome everyone to this August 21st edition of What's Happening in Crypto with the Crypto Lark, broadcasting to you from New Zealand and bringing you all of the latest from the crypto world and beyond. Today's top stories: the efforts to professionalize the Bitcoin industry continue forward. Akon and Ai Weiwei go farther down the blockchain rabbit hole, and things are not always what they appear to be. Looking at the markets, we are largely maintaining 7-day gains, even though the market is sinking a bit on the 24-hour at the moment. First big story: the Winklevoss twins teaming up with Bitstamp, Bitflyer, and Bittrex on their virtual commodity association. They want to really self-regulate the crypto industry. And getting these really big players involved in that discussion is a great step towards realizing that. We all know that the industry has long been accused of all kinds of misdoings, so any effort to bring more transparency is definitely welcomed. Speaking of the Winklevoss twins, rumors abound of the NASDAQ Gemini relationship deepening. Based on two sources close to Gemini and the Winklevoss twins' crypto empire, we believe that Gemini and NASDAQ are moving closer and closer to a joint venture that allows both the NASDAQ and Gemini to list tokens and provide liquidity on a global scale. According to both sources, there is a plan being constructed that would see the NASDAQ ultimately list top market cap coins for global trading. If that were to happen, that would be massive, absolutely massive. And stories like this really show you that there's so much going on behind the scenes that we don't even always see. But these rumors start to leak out, and announcements, of course, will likely follow. Maybe that won't fruition, but maybe it will. And if it does, that's definitely exciting news. ICE's backed CEO comes out making some clarifications that the backed platform will not be supporting margin trading, that the contracts will indeed be fully collateralized. They're quoted as saying, specifically with our solution, the buying and selling of Bitcoin is fully collateralized or pre-funded. As such, our new daily Bitcoin contract will not be traded on margin, use leverage, or serve to create a paper claim on a real asset. Very interesting. Of course, when backed does come out, that will be yet another massive industry player pushing forward and really seeing this just huge amount of money coming into crypto, but also a huge amount of professionalization coming to the industry overall. On Thursday, the SEC will face yet another decision for the ProShares Bitcoin ETF once again. If we see this decision be denied or delayed, previous denials or delays have resulted in temporary market dips. If we see it get approved, don't think it's going to be this one, but if we do see it get approved, I would expect the markets to react quite enthusiastically, we could say. NVIDIA reports substantial decline in GPU sales to crypto miners. I'm actually quite surprised that NVIDIA never got into the ASIC miner game. I know they kept doing the GPUs, but they never really catered to that market. They even looked at them as, well, yeah, we're selling a lot of GPUs to these people, but we're really here for the gamers. I feel like NVIDIA could have missed a really big opportunity in not trying to cater more to the cryptocurrency miner market. Speaking of cryptocurrency mining, trailblazing desert Bitcoin project raises fresh questions over Morocco's role in Western Sahara. This is a story I covered about a week or two ago. They're putting in a massive solar installation over in well, actually what is Western Sahara, a 900 megawatt wind farm. Now, the problem is that Morocco thinks that it owns Western Sahara. Western Sahara does not want to be owned by Morocco, but Morocco has given out a license to Soluna Technologies to build this 900 megawatt wind farm in Western Sahara. That's problematic, and obviously we do see a situation globally where companies kind of come in, they sign these deals, and they're probably just going to do it anyway. It's good for Bitcoin mining because it means that more Bitcoin mining will happen on renewable resources. A lot of that energy, of course, will also be going to Morocco to help Morocco meet its renewable resource targets in terms of its energy production. However, what does this mean for the people of Western Sahara? And just goes to show once again that politics and Bitcoin are linked at the hip. And speaking of Bitcoin mining and the repercussions of Bitcoin mining, one of the largest banks issued an alarming warning that Earth is running out of resources to sustain life. The Earth overshoot day has been steadily moving up since the 1970s. This year it was August 1st. So after the 1st of August this year, we are basically running the planet on credit. That is to say, we do not have enough resources to sustain anymore at that point. Now look, this is a tricky metric to really nail down by any means, but I think it really does speak to the need to come up with new and better systems. And yeah, there's a lot of criticisms about Bitcoin mining and the massive amount of energy that it does use, and that is something that does need to be addressed in the long run, because if it keeps growing at the rate that it's growing, it will be unsustainable, without a doubt. It's already getting a lot of criticism, and that criticism is warranted. However, of course, a lot of criticism doesn't get given to other things that do deserve criticism when it comes down to talking about using resources globally. But hopefully, as distributed systems take more prominence in society, we can start coming up with better solutions that will help us build the society of the future. Because we don't want to keep living in the crumbling remnants of the economy of the past. We need to create the tools that will enable us to really fulfill a brighter economy for the future, and hopefully distributed systems will allow us to do that. The Bitmain IPO. Apparently SoftBank is not going to be part of that, nor is Tencent. A very interesting turn of events. Now, it was reported that both Tencent and SoftBank would be participating in the Bitmain IPO. They have both come out denying that, which is very interesting to see that these big investors don't want to be getting into the Bitmain IPO. I think there will be a lot of FUD around the Bitmain IPO within the certain circles of people who are actually able to invest in that. Again, this is not something for regular humans to be investing in, but it's certainly an interesting story in terms of the continued Bitmain dramas that we see unfolding. Ai Weiwei is using Ethereum to make art about value. Now, he's teaming up with Kevin Abosch, who we've talked about previously on the show, actually, and this is the art that they are doing. So they are priceless moments in time between Kevin and Ai Weiwei. So you can actually buy the physical works. Now you can see here, for example, this one is called Priceless. This one is called Sharing Tea. So this is what they were doing at the time that they created this address. You have a big nose. No, you have a big nose. They are getting a bit funny. At some point, I am the cryptocurrency, and the size of the holes. What were they talking about in that situation? I have no idea. But nevertheless, this is an interesting representation of art coming to the blockchain and finding this idea of, well, what do we give value to and why do we give value to it? Certainly interesting when it does come down to that. I feel like artists are taking blockchain and related technologies and really trying to expand on the idea, how is this new technology going to come in and affect our lives and change our lives, and how can we use that to question our society, which is of course what artists love to do. Ethos teaming up with Simplex for phase 1 of their fiat gateway. I'm in two camps on this story, because on the one hand, it's nice to see Ethos getting a fiat gateway. On the other hand, I'm really disappointed that it's Simplex. Simplex charges crazy big fees and is really not the best provider when it comes to this. And I know that they do have wide acceptance and you can use credit cards and all these different things, but in terms of the fees, it's really not that good. And so it's unfortunate that they are using Simplex. It would be nice to see more of an in-house solution when it comes down to that, but Simplex is a big provider, so they do have that ability to give the fiat gateway. It's just not the best one. And finally, we come to our Akon story. The EOS Alliance has launched with the mandate to empower EOS for all. Now, this is really interesting to see the names of the people who are sitting on the initial board. Brock Pierce, Bancor's Galia Benartzi, and Akon. What? This is crazy. Of course, we've covered a lot of stories about Akon recently. It's very interesting. He seems to really be getting into blockchain technology. We did cover the story about his 2,000 acre piece of land in Senegal where he plans to build a blockchain-based community with his own cryptocurrency. Of course, Akon has been working for a long time to empower the people of his home continent, bringing solar energy there previously. To see this collaboration with EOS is definitely compelling, and I'll be really keen to see where this goes moving forward. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. Let me know what you think about any of the news stories down below in the comment section. Thumbs up the video and share these videos around the internet to help our community grow. Join the conversation over on Twitter or Telegram. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.